Hey folks, this is Hill Country Nerd, and after this, we're gonna create our very first email. Hey folks, well, welcome back. This is David with Hill Country Nerd, and today we're gonna make our very first email. And how we're going to do this is going to be very simple. It's going to be a 2-column email, and just keep in mind, you make an email, you have to have a way of sending it, whether it's through PHP or whether it's through something like Campaign Monitor and things like that to get the mail system send it out, because you can't just email an HTML file and expect it to populate for people. So it has to be sent through a system that actually sends it out. So we're going to go ahead and start this out, and as you can see on my screen, we already have our email. We're going to build it out. My designer sent me an email. We need to get it done urgently. This is going to go out. You want to put all the care in the world into this email, because this email is going to represent the company as well as it's going to represent you. And this email, by the looks of it, can mean that it makes $1 or can make thousands of dollars. It's up to you. So now emails are nothing like HTML in the fact that things are a lot different, you know, as far as how you format it out. We use tables, and there's some elements you can't use in emails that you could use in a regular HTML page, because Microsoft Outlook 2007 doesn't like it. Let me get this started. Now I already have the images, so look at this. The first thing I look at is, okay, what can I use? What could I use as far as the images, and what will I actually use and type out with regular text? So I already say, okay, I'm going to use this, which is going to be this whole thing right here, and I'm going to use this, which is going to be completely clickable, and then I'm going to use this as an image. So we have 3 images. This is going to be my borderline image, and then we're going to do all this stuff in text, and all this is going to be in text as well. So that's what we're going to do here. Now I've already cropped the images out. If you want to know how to crop images out, you can go visit my HTML tutorial part 2, and that'll show you how I get the images out of the Photoshop document. So let's go ahead and get this thing started, and I'm going to open my Aptana Studio. I think it's a very good IDE. It's free, and it does a lot of autocomplete stuff for you. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on my folder, which I already have open. And I'm going to go new from template, and I'm going to go to HTML, and I already got an email template set out, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to name this a date, which is going to be 09/13/2016. Make sure I got that right, because it's going to be useful here, and I'm going to go ahead and put a space there, and I'm going to go ahead and say OV for OmniVest, and then I'm going to say portfolio, and I'm going to name it as an HTML. Let that generate, and the reason I do this is this template's going to generate all my headers and stuff like that, stuff I need, like my doc type and stuff I will need. Now up here, the title is important. A lot of people's going to want the title up there, and there's a lot of programs that use the title to actually put that into the subject of the email. So I'm going to call this OmniVest Portfolios are out performing, and I'm reading off another sheet of paper here to see what they want in there, so you won't see it right here, but I'll show you on the PSD file. Performing the market! Exclamation point, because we're excited, right? Okay, so we already got that done, and as you can see, the first thing I have here is I have a table element. The table element is a tag, and I have a few things in it. I have a width of 750, and the reason I want the width of 750, I'm going to go ahead and show you right here. I'm going to bring up my folder over here, and I'm going to go ahead and go to my development folder and my emails, and I'm going to go to OmniVest Portfolios, and I'm going to go to the header right here, and you're going to see that the header is 750 by 389. So the total width of my email is going to be 350 pixels. And so I have that. I want to align the whole table center. I want no borders. I don't want no cell padding and no cell spacing, and I want my font family to be the web-friendly Arial, Helvetica, and Sans Serif. And we're not going to have a background color, so I'm going to erase that. Let's see, if you want a background color, you can do a background color and specify the color using hexadecimal or just regular words. So we did that, and so right here we're going to go down to our first level here, and what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and look at our PSD and see what we need to do. So this is not correct, so I actually got a correction on this. And so what they wanted me to do was, they wanted me to put, let me bring this over here for you, they wanted me to put this stuff on the top as it wasn't before. So let me see if that's actually including the image I downloaded, just to make sure we're safe, and it does. So we're just going to create the header. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to my thing, I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way, and I'm going to go ahead, so since this is like this, but they sent me an update file that says they want this to be on top. So I've already got the image out where that's on top. So I'm going to go ahead and open my editor up, and I'm going to go ahead and do my first table row, and then I'm going to do a TD, and make sure that since we're going to have 2 columns, we need to say col span equals 2. It means columns, not rows, columns. And then we're going to say we want this to align equals center, because that's where we want to center out. We don't need to put no styles in there because it's just a image source. So we're going to do image source equals. And now before you do the image source, it's very important, and I'll show you why in a minute, to kind of type in alt and what the title of the image is. So I'm going to say header image. And the reason we do this is because if you make a mistake and the images don't show up in your web page, at least you'll have the words there to show you what's supposed to be there in case you have a lot of elements on the page. So you want to make sure you have an alt tag in there. So my source is actually going to be header, and you can see it's actually filling out for me because it already sees it in there. So I'm going to go like that, and then I'm going to go ahead and close it off. And this is going to be a rather than doing an image closing tag, you just do a hard close right there. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and I'm going to refresh my directory here. I should have an index.php here. I'm sorry about the file name I made. We'll go and click it, and you can see we already have our header image ready to go. And you can see that it fits really well. It's going to size after everything really well. So that's going to be our header we saw right here, and that's right here. So the next thing we're going to want to do is we're actually going to want to go ahead and we're going to want to go ahead and do all this stuff right here. So we already know this is going to be 1 row, but the row is not going to start until this next set. So this right here can actually be on this first row. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our text tool, and we're going to go like this, and it's going to give me everything I need as far as that. So I'm going to see the color of the text, which you can look at right here, and that should be 000, but it's not. It's kind of a little bit of a bluish tint. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that so I can get my stuff set up. So what I'm going to do is to kind of do hard spaces in the email. What I have done here is I did a TR and a TD style height 20 pixels with a non-spacing break. You don't have to put a col span there because it's not really going to affect anything. So I'm going to go below that, and I'm going to do another TR. I'm going to do a TD again, col span equals 2, because we have 2 rows. You got to make sure that if you only have 1 element on the row, you want to make sure that you're going to say this is going to span 2 rows. And then you're going to say align equals left, because it's going to be going to the left hand side. We're going to do something else here in a minute, but we're going to go ahead and do some of the other stuff. We're going to put a style, and we're going to put a color of that. That should be the color. And we need to go ahead and grab our font size here, which will actually be in the very top here, and the font size says it's going to be 20 pixels bold. So we're going to go right here. So we're going to say font weight bolder, which is the boldest you can get, and then we're going to say font size. We're going to make that at 20 pixels. Now, as you're going to see here, and I'm going to go ahead and save this the way it is. I'm going to show you how it's not really going to look right, but we're going to go ahead and do it to show you what I mean. So I already have this copied in here, so I'm going to go ahead and come back to my editor and paste it in there, and you're going to see it's right here. So when we actually look at it, it's not going to look right. You're going to see it's way over here to the left, whereas you see right here is actually some spacing is kind of lining up with that. So the best way to do this is to go ahead and cancel your text tool, go ahead and get the box, and you want to kind of measure from the edge of the form all the way over here, and I see it's like 25 pixels over, which should be plenty enough to do. Since that's 25 pixels, we're going to use that 25 pixels, padding left 25 pixels. Don't use margin, use padding. Margin will not work on here. So we're going to say padding left 25 pixels, and that should straighten stuff out for us on this document. Let's go look at that. It looks like it's a bit much, but let's take it down to, because we saw in the document, actually that's perfect. The way I'm looking at that's perfect. When you look at the actual document here, you can see it is a little bit over from the border, so that's the way you want it to look. And designers expect you to make it look just like it does on their documents. That's what we're going to do. So now we're going to start our first column here, and what I like to do is I like to use P tags for each paragraph because they're easier to control. We can control the margin. So what we're going to do is we're going to create our table rows in one TD, and then we're going to create P tags going all the way down. Then we're going to control it from there. And I'm going to show you how to get this blue into the top and different styles there. So what we're going to do is we want to get the main sizes of all the characters. So we're going to go to the main content right here. And you're going to see that the size is going to be 15 pixels, just regular, nothing set, it's 15 pixels. So we're going to come right here, and we're going to copy this, and then we're going to go right here, and we're going to paste that in to kind of give us some little space there. And then we're going to go another TR, we're going to go TD, and this time you're not going to put any call spans because it's going to be, this actually TR is going to be a spanning 2 columns. So it's going to be each going to have its own column. So we don't got to put call span 2. Just leave that out. We do have to align this left, and we do have to put some styles in here. And we said that our font size was 15 pixels, and we said we need padding left. We need to make that 25 pixels to match everything else. And we're going to go ahead and close that off and do that right here. And so you can see nothing's there yet, but you can see we got our 15 pixels in there. That's good. And I'm gonna make sure our font size, our font color is not weird. And it is kind of weird, so we're gonna make sure we do that up here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go up here in the main table, since we know we're gonna be using a lot of that color. We're gonna put color, and we're gonna put the main color in there just like that. And we can override it anytime we want to just by putting it into the style. So we're gonna do that right there. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make our first P tag. Now when we do a P tag, we're gonna do a P. And we're going to leave it the way it is. It's not going to line anything. We're going to say style, and we'll make sure that we use margin on this. You can't use padding in a P tag. You got to use margin. Padding will not work in Outlooks. So it's going to be margin top, and we're going to make that 0. There's a good reason for that. If you don't, it's going to have a natural padding of about 25 to 30 pixels. So you want to take that all out because you don't want it going down too far. We want to set it to the top as much as possible. And so we're going to go ahead and do that. And that reminds me of one more thing I have to do. And we're not going to mess with any font size. That's already set in the top. And so everything else there is good. So we're going to go ahead and close this off our P tag. I'm going to put our first P tag element in there. And then we're going to start measuring stuff off from there. So one thing I forgot to do here is you have to do 2 things. If you don't put a white space in, if you don't tell it to not wrap, it's gonna make the lines look skewed. It's gonna make it look crappy. So you always want to make sure that if you have 2 columns, one with text and the other side of the image, you want to put a white space, and then you want to put a no wrap. That's gonna help that. Secondly, what we need to do is, I was thinking about this. Give me a second. On the actual TD element, we want to put a vertical align. That's up and down. So V align. We're going to make that equal top, because we want this to go all the way to the top. Otherwise, it's going to try to sit in the middle of it, and you want it to go up to the very top. So we already set that. So let's go ahead and get our text, and we're going to get all the text here. So I'm not worried about the blue as much right now. We're going to do that right after we copy this text. So I'm going to copy all of this. And we're gonna see that we have a line break after strategies and a line break, and so basically a line break after performance and a line break after strategies. And we're gonna make sure we do that with BR so that it stays hard in there and it doesn't cause any other issues. So we're gonna go ahead and paste that in. We're gonna make sure we have a period behind it because that was there, and then I'm gonna put a BR right there, and that's gonna put a line break right there. And then I'm gonna tab this over because I like to keep my stuff clean. Doesn't matter what it looks like on the document, it's going to look good on the page, but I like to make sure everything is looking good here. I'm going to put another BR after strategies, and I'm going to return that just right there and kind of take that space out. And so what I'm going to do here is, we know this is going to be blue, this is going to be everything else. So what we're going to do with the reliable performance is we're going to actually go up here, we're going to find out what color that is, which we can do it right there. And the color is going to be you can see right here it's going to be 246CB5, so I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back to my document, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a span around it. So I'm going to say span style equals font. I think it's bold. Let's see, it's a font size. Make sure that's 15. We're proceeding further. No, 17 pixels, and it's going to be regular. So we're going to say so make sure it don't get confusing, and we're going to put our other end of a span over here. Right before the BR, and then we're going to go ahead and do our font size, which is going to be 17 pixels, and then we're going to make our color, because I copied it, but I put the span in the copy thing, so we're going to go ahead and make that color. Let's make it that color right there, and then we're going to see what that looks like right now. So I'm going to open my document up over here, and everything looks okay, but I think that this reliable performance kind of looks weird. It looks a little bit darker here, and I want to say that there's a bold in there, and there is a bold in there. So we're going to make it font weight bolder. So there is a bold. It just wasn't shown at the very top. It's actually shown right here. It's highlighted bold right there. If it wasn't, it would look right, but it is bold. So we're going to go ahead and do a font weight bolder. And then we're going to refresh the document. It should look a lot better now. So our spacing looks good right here. Kind of look at to why we have a why this is not lining up. So I'm going to look at my document and find out why it's not lining up. We do have a margin top 0, we have a line left, and we should have a padding left 25 pixels. So I should pick up, let's make sure this is right here, we have a padding left 25 pixels. So that actually should work. So I'm not sure why that's not lining up. It should actually line up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to inspect my element. Actually, it is lining up, and yeah, it is lining up. It just looked weird the way my angle, my mantra was, so forgive me for that one. I apologize. So we're going to go ahead and look and see what the next thing is. We're going to be doing this probably about 1, 2. So we have 1, 2, 3 more times. And you can see there's a little bit of a line height there. We're going to take care of that in just a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this 3 more times. The same thing. That's going to avoid you having to retype things over and over and over again. So we're going to copy that. We're going to paste it 3 more times. So 1, 2, 3. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start. First, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and copy the content, all of it, just like that. And we're going to come over here. We're going to come up here, and we're just going to copy just right below the span. That way, we don't leave a lot of span stuff. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the reduced risk, which is supposed to be at the top. We're going to take that out, and we're going to put that right in between the span where it's supposed to be, like that. And then we're going to go ahead and get this other stuff spanned over, just like that. Going to see where our breaks are at. Our breaks is going to be at mini in strategies. So we're going to go to mini. Then we're going to go to strategies. You guys see there's already a space mark there. So just like that. We're going to go ahead and save it. Look at our document, see what it looks like. Looks good, and you can see where we copied our stuff in. And we'll know what to do with this as soon as we get our image on the right hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing the other 2, and doing the same thing I did before. Go to my document. Going to copy in the first 2 lines. Going to get the automated investing, which I know is going to be up here. And then I need to get this tabbed over, as we did before. And then I'm going to go ahead and find out where my spaces are at, which is going to be automatically, most, and of. So automatically, most, and then of. And I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that space up there, and I'll probably do that at the top 1, 2. That make things cleaner. And then we're we're going to do the same thing with the very last paragraph here. And then we're going to put cost effective. And then we're going to go ahead and tab this over. And we know to get rid of that blank space when we're at it. Find out where our spaces are at, which is going to be just after levels 2 right here. So I'm going to go ahead and make my line break and put that down there. And so that part is done. There's probably a little bit of tweaking we got to do when we're done, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. It looks just like that. As you look, that's exactly the way it shows in the Photoshop document. So now the right hand side, we're going to do this image right here, which is a trial image. And so what we're going to do is we're going to open our document, and we're going to come down here below this TD, and we're going to say TD, and this is going to be a line center because you want to be centered on the same area. And then you also want to put a V line top, make sure that flows to the very top too. So V line equals top. And then I'm going to go ahead and close that off. That's what you put there, I don't think. And then I need to do an A. And since it's going to be an href, we're going to put a style in here. We don't want no outlines. So outline none. That will keep, like when you click it, there won't be no boxes around it. So it's outline none. And then I'm going to do an href. And since no URL was provided to me, I'm going to go ahead and put a number sign and leave it just like that. And I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to put my image in there. So it's going to be image, and make sure you put a border in there as 0. That way we don't have any borders around it by default. Because the image sometimes have a border when they're like a when it's a link, so it will put a blue border around it. So you want to do that. And also you also want to put your famous alt in there, which is going to be alt. It's going to be trial image, and then we're going to do our source. It's going to be free trial image ping, and it pre-populates for me, and I'm going to go and close that off. And then we're going to see what it does right now and see how well that looks. Now as you can see on the pre-trial image, the image is coming down below the reliable performances. So you can see it's not really lining up the way it should as it does right here. So how we're going to fix that is we're going to go to this right here, and we're going to put a P tag in there. So it's going to be a P, because we have P tags above, so we're kind of do the same thing here. It's going to kind of give it some natural stuff here. And then we also want to say in the P tag, we want to say style equals margin top 0, and close that off just like so. So this should actually line it up now for us. Yep, a lot better. That looks good. Kind of bring it up here. We can see that this does line up with this, and this is going to be clickable. So we're almost done here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do our little image we have down here. So here's how we're going to do this. So we're going to go up here, and we're going to get our little spacer we made up here. I'm going to bring it down here and bring it below the TR. Then I'm going to go up here, since we're basically doing the same things. I'm going to grab the header image TR up here, and I'm going to copy it down below there. So now all we have to do right here is we can say, we can retitle this as an article break, and then we're going to go ahead and rename this, and we're going to name it line break. That's already how the images in the folder. Oops, look at that. So there we go. I'm going to save this, and then everything's centered. We have a call span 2. Everything's good there. I'm going to go ahead and refresh the screen, and you can see that we have a really cool line break right there. So the very next thing we're going to do is going to make sure we have our titles. So what I'm going to do, since I already have a lot of emails from the same people, I'm going to go ahead and get into my other email here so I can get all the stuff I need and get my title down here, just like so. So that's going to be my copyright information. And then I'm going to save it and make sure that it shows up correctly. And it doesn't. And there's a reason why. We'd never put a call span in there, so we need to go TD call span. So I'm going to say call span equals 2. And that will fix that issue for sure. There we go. So I do notice that on the PSD there's actually a break in between the phone number and then the information right there below. So right after the phone number, all I have to do here is just put a line break. See where that line break's at. Kind of had a hard time. It's kind of small here. It looks like to subscribe, send an email to. So right after send an email to, we're gonna have another line break. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that. So send email to, and we put a line break right there, and that will fix it for sure. We're going to do that, and we're good to go. So our email is done. It looks great. It looks just like it's supposed to do. Do you want to kind of look at right here? There's a before picture, and we got the same thing right here. So I hope you enjoyed this, and you can catch my next tutorials. Subscribe to my channel, and you can receive notifications on my next tutorials. Have a good day. This is Hill Country Nerd.